From the Local 33 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jesse Gunkel with the very latest update that was just issued at 4 o'clock. And there are some changes out there, the main one being warnings. Not so much the path and not so much the intensity at this point. We are still looking at a very brief window that this system could get to hurricane strength just before making landfall. And because of that, well, that's why they've issued a hurricane warning from Intracoastal City all the way to Grand Isle at this point. That's the area shaded in this bright red out there. They're expecting hurricane conditions within the next 36 hours. So you can start to see some strong wind gusts and some heavy rainfall for all of those coastal parishes, again, from Intracoastal City all the way to Grand Isle. Now, again, tropical storm warning also extended to a lot of areas. As you see here, that does include areas further to the west now, a little bit closer from Cameron Parish, again, all the way to the city of Cameron. And it also includes a lot of parishes further inland, east and west Baton Rouge. We're talking Iberville, Assumption, anything that's butting up against Lake Maurepas, and anything that's butting up against Lake Pontchartrain at this point. So St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, everything in between St. James and St. John the Baptist Parish, and then obviously all the way towards the east. And as you see here, some areas now are included in that tropical storm watch at this point. But I also want to point out storm surge warning that is now from the mouth of the Atchafalaya River to Shell Beach. So they have adjusted that a little bit at this point. They still are including a storm surge watch that's from Shell Beach to the Mississippi-Alabama border. And you can see that goes all the way out to about here. That also, the watch is for the Atchafalaya River to the Intracoastal City, and it also includes Lake Pontchartrain at this point. So again, that's under the watch. So again, a lot coming as this system slowly migrates towards the west at this point. Still, we got those winds at about 40 miles per hour as it heads to the west now at about 5 miles per hour. It currently sits about, well, 90 miles south now of the mouth of the Mississippi River. So you can see it exactly right here. We got a lot of that thunderstorm activity shifted a little bit to the southwest with this system. However, we're starting to see a little bit better formation or some type of organization out there, a little bit of banding coming around the central part of the system. Still got a lot of wind shear kind of blowing off the tops of these clouds, even a little bit of dry air in the mix, and that's why I think strengthening is not expected to be as quickly as originally forecasted. I think it's going to be a slower process, and as you see here, kind of looks like a tropical storm just before landfall, but they are expecting a very brief window that we could get to hurricane strength. Winds up to about 75 miles per hour before it starts to weaken a little bit, making its way further inland tropical, and it should weaken pretty quickly as soon as it makes its way inland. That's good news for us here in the capital area. Right here is where we sit. Notice, however, the current path has shifted just slightly to the east, almost directly on top of us, going right through the Atchafalaya Basin. That means we're still going to get the worst part of the weather just outside of the eye wall. And yes, all that heavy rainfall and those stronger winds all lie on that northeastern quadrant as the system continues to track its way through. By the time we get to about Saturday afternoon, it should be sitting somewhere on top of us by Sunday. Obviously, in the northern part of the state, already back down to a tropical depression. I think the time frame here, or the worst window for us, continues to be anywhere from late Friday into very early, probably to about midday on Saturday at this point. So again, roughly around Saturday morning, still looks to be somewhere. That's the current spot for landfall at this point. Obviously, we got some wind gusts up to about 50 miles per hour. And you can see track models are starting to bring it back a little bit further towards the west. So they are starting to agree, even with some of our global models kind of following in that general direction, kind of moving right up through the Atchafalaya Basin. And then as you see here, obviously a lot of that heavy rainfall on the south side, but then it starts to wrap around that system as it drives through the state of Louisiana. A lot of that banding extends back into the Gulf of Mexico. Those feeder bands are what are going to pump in all that heavy rain over the next couple of days. And the concern is not even so much as the system arrives, what happens prior to this storm arriving. Do we get those scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms? Same scenario, heavy rainfall from the mouth of the Mississippi through New Orleans and then even into Baton Rouge, and then it starts to drive off quickly. A little bit of a weaker scenario out there. Just want to show you another model out here, and as you see, again, a lot of that heavy rainfall. This one's still going a little bit further west, probably going to track back towards the east as we make our way closer to the evening hours. Same thing with this overall scenario, tracking slightly to the west. Under this model, looks like it's going to be a big-time concern for Lafayette, but I still think that's also going to track a little bit back to the east before everything is said and done. And as you notice, our entire viewing area now included underneath that flash flood watch. And that goes all the way now, I think, through Sunday at this point. At least Saturday. Most likely they will extend it into Sunday, possibly even Monday as we continue to move forward. And here's the reason why. Take a look at some of these rain totals out here. Just tremendous. In fact, anywhere from 6 to 12 inches possible. Locally, we could even see some higher amounts across the state. And that could even change as we continue to move closer to the weekend. Starting out Friday, where we're going to see that heavy rainfall, and that will extend into Saturday, Sunday, and obviously we got a good chance that we could even see some lingering rain going into Monday at this point before we finally start to dry out. So just be prepared. Don't panic. Have that game plan ready to go just in case. Main thing here is we're going to continue to keep you updated throughout the evening hours. We're going to have another update around 7 o'clock, and you can catch that live stream here on our website, beourproud.com. Make sure you download our app. You can also follow us on social media for the very latest, and also on our evening newscast coming up at 5, 5:30, 6, 9, and 10. Thank you.